Greetings, Macadine family. Hope all is well with you and your life. Coming out of the Macadine, chapter 31, Emotions, part 1. Men, engage with respect and caution. And we have a quote from someone by the name of Matshana Dilwayo, which states, if you cheat on reason with emotion, you will go bankrupt. Brothers, emotion has been our enemy for various reasons, and I'm going to go into it briefly. And one of those reasons is the fact that we have different brains than women, and that her emotional brain is bigger than ours. I'm going to quote from the Macadine book, where it states, from her beginning, within the womb, the female has more circuits for communication and emotions than the male. From the fetus to adulthood, said circuits only increase and become more refined. The massive surge of estrogen she receives the first 2 years of her life, which is referred to as infantile puberty, gives her more of those circuits for communication, the ability to read emotions, social nuance, and nurturing skills. She's also able to utilize both sides of her brain. We're going to stop right there. Now, from day one, she has mental abilities that you and I don't have, which is not taught to you and I in school. So therefore, we find these things out on accident, and usually a literal accident where we get tore the fuck up. So what man must become today is more thought than feeling, than emotion. And I'm going to get to that. But I want to go into various specific quotes from the Macadine, which gives us the keys to overcoming emotion. And what's terrible is, especially in the black community, is that 70 and in some places 90%, like in Louisiana, in some parts of New York and Texas and Florida, there is 90% of black households being ran by women who are in fact not only emotional but toxically emotional, which is something else that we're gonna have to deal with. And in some parts of the world, for example, it's in France. Well, there is actually something called, referred to as PMDD, which stands for premenstrual dysphoric disorder. Now, this is when a woman has a menstrual cycle that's so overwhelming that she's actually let off for murder. For actual murder, just like in America, they have what they call the Twinkie defense. But in this case, this is really a serious issue that affects women all over the world. And as mentioned here, to the degree of murder. But this is not the only example. You know, if you go back historically, for example, at Cambrai, France, they say a group of nuns, this was in 1491, they exhibited fits, yelped like dogs, and foretold the future. Then in Zate, Spain, 1560, nuns bleated like sheep, tore off their veils, and had convulsions in the church. Now, all this is due to the toxic effect of religion having an effect on the emotional brain, which it has negative effects on both the male and the female brain, which is also, that's another subject. Now, there are 6 major emotions: joy, peace, love, sadness, anger, and fear. It's so imperative for a man to struggle with his entire being to penetrate and remain in the realms of joy, peace, and love, and get as far away as possible from sadness, anger, and fear. Now, the question is, how do you do that? In a world based on fear, where 90% of the people suffer from fear of some type on a regular basis, how do you overcome sadness, anger, and fear, especially as a black man who's being pursued as though this is some type of hunting game by the police, being pursued in the black community by your own people? So if anyone is in sadness, anger, and fear, it is indeed the black man over all other people, because we are the endangered, targeted ones by white supremacy and this government. But as far as those of us who are going through this, the way to overcome negative emotions and you get back in control of your personal emotional state is through what they call emoting, which you can do that by chopping wood, hitting on the bag as I do at the Macadine headquarters every day. But it's you doing physical things, whether it be working out, even sex. And you're utilizing the mind, you're utilizing your personal power to dissipate the negative emotions. And what's really important is self-talk. Self-talk, how it is that we conversate with ourselves, because we got to understand that emotion is actually just energy in motion. It's an energy, but it's a type of energy that's in motion. So it's up to us to navigate that motion, to stay on top of our emotions, because these sisters who are in emotional lunacy will have us in all types of disarray, going through all types of unnecessary chaos. But it starts by us being rooted in self and staying in a positive mindset. And that mindset, once again, as I keep on emphasizing, is exhibited through one's personal library, through your I am statements. It's our job to keep ourselves on the correct emotional track, to stay cool, to stay balanced, and exercise and proper eating is so important. Avoid all soy products. Soy is pure estrogen, which causes a man to be extra emotional and out of character. I will discuss more about this in part 2 of emotions. Men, treat with respect and caution. More later.